We're having a discussion over here. Does Judaism fit with science? Tristan is becoming an archaeologist, and he's
I've already. I was a practicing.
you're practicing archaeologist.
Yeah, I specialize in ancient Roman and Greek history.
Got it.
History.
The Lubavitcher Rebbe's opinion was that science is going to fit together with Torah. It's slowly coming closer to the beliefs of Torah. Like many things in science, they're realizing today. And Torah believed that thousands of years ago. Like the world was round was decided in the Talmud thousands of years ago. It's only recently that they decided the world is round. They're like, oh, the world is round.
This big epiphany kind of moment.
Right, exactly. And for example, like you're supposed to pause 12 seconds before you wake up. The Rambam writes that. The Maimonides writes that. And there's so many different things. So this science is like coming closer to the way of Torah. So I just asked Tristan, where are the fossils of the process of the macroevolution?
You kind of see that when it comes. This is not my area of expertise,
right.
But you kind of see that with the remnants of the universe and outer space kind of thing. So for example, like when a star
falls apart,
basically it creates a black hole, typically, or like the remnants of the initial Big Bang kind of, so to speak. You get like asteroids, meteorites. The planets, they just kind of broke off and spread through that. There's no real evidence. Well, this is not my expertise, but there's no real moment or like the moment, like the Big Bang kind of. There's no real evidence to support it, as far as I know. However, Stephen.
So the interesting thing is, we're just having an open debate. We have different opinions, obviously, over here, but we're having a very open debate. Why is it the main school of thought in the whole world, the whole Western society, the main school of thought is that the Big Bang Theory happened and that macroevolution is a thing and God can't exist? Because there's evidence supporting the macroevolution doesn't make sense, because there's fossils from tens of thousands of years ago.
Millions of years ago.
According to Judaism, the world only existed for 5,770 and 82 years.
Okay.
And that is because the world was created already, and it wasn't...
But that being said, that would argue against the theory of evolution and like dinosaurs.
No, dinosaurs. There we go. That's another thing. Dinosaurs, according to the Torah, dinosaurs existed. There's one animal that Noah didn't let into. God told Noah he can't let into the teva, and the description of that is the dinosaur. It's an animal that is very, very vicious and very tall and would spew fire, and I think that's where the idea also, where the movies got the idea of how the dinosaur behaves.
Fire-breathing dragons.
It's from the Mefarish, it's from the Mefarish and the Torah. So dinosaurs is something that the Torah stated before they found dinosaurs, just a couple hundred years ago, like the bones of dinosaurs. It makes sense that the dinosaurs existed because the Torah, then it will contradict the Torah if we can't find dinosaurs.
What you're arguing is that God basically just said no and then ended that
species.
That species.
Just dinosaurs.
Yeah, okay. But that being said, we also have remnants, so like velociraptors, for example, are descended from chickens of the modern day velociraptors, which is kind of sad.
There are other species that
have survived, that have not survived, and there's some that have survived. For example, like turtles were around millions of years ago. Octopus.
Lions were also around.
Lions, sharks.
Everything was around.
Yeah.
No, according to Judaism, evolution is a thing. Microevolution means that God is recreating the world every single second. And that's microevolution. The fact that a horse in Iceland has long hair, that's microevolution. That means that God is looking over that animal that makes sure it survives in its habitat. But macroevolution is a contradiction to the concept of Judaism. That's the only concept. The macroevolution doesn't make sense.
It's a larger scale kind of color.
No, because macroevolution claims that we were something else and then we became
something more.
It was just a bang, and then the world evolved into its existence. There was cats, there was dogs, the level of how the cats look today changed because of their habitat. Maybe city cats, this cats, right? If you have cats in Egypt, they're very, very skinny fur, very hot.
Yeah.
So the evolution of magpies, right? Over here, they're more peaceful. In Australia, they're dangerous because they have to fight spiders. That's what they eat. They eat dangerous, vicious spiders.
Okay, so it's an evolution of basically a kill or be killed kind of thing, like an adaptation to their environment, essentially.
Right. So we adapt to our environment according to God's hashkacha, God's view on this world. So the macroevolution concept, my only question is, where are the fossils of the process? If we say that we come from monkeys, so where's the process?
Where is the process? Once again, there are remains of the evolution, but there is no moment where it only goes back so far. But there is a moment where
we don't know yet.
We don't know yet exactly. We haven't found, or it's too deep underground. Or this is another. There's a lot of unanswered questions.
If it's too deep underground, then why do we find things that were thousands of years old that are same still as today?
Maybe we're digging in the wrong place.
Okay. All right.
Cheers, man. Nice to meet you.
So I was asking Tristan about different beers in this bar, and where the person was killed in the attack in 2020 by this bar right over here.
Kill stuff over there, yeah. Crazy. You started shooting up the synagogue and all these people in the area here.
So I asked him if he's Jewish. He said no. He said, but his great grandmother was Jewish, so he's maybe a little bit Jewish.
Maybe a little bit, I suppose.
Jewish as Moses.
I guess I'm part of like the chosen people. Yeah,
100%.
Rodman or Rothman. I believe it was Rodman. Was my great grandmother's name. She was from Poland.
Wow.
And then,
so do you have any affiliation with the Jewish world?
Not at all. Unfortunately, I was raised Irish Catholic in Canada, but yeah, like my grandmother and all that whole side of the family fled.
It's just one level of being Jewish. That's all.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is
You
what it
just
is.
have a Jewish soul and you have a Jewish soul. Like this.